Hey Lions fans! Breaking news from behind the scenes delivered straight to you as we head into the upcoming matchup, so we have a lot to discuss. Before we get started with today's exclusive updates, be sure to hit that like button so you don't miss a thing from the Detroit Lions. We've got some incredible stories and insights lined up, and trust me, you're going to want to stick around for this one. Okay, let's start with some breaking news from Allen Park. Cornerback Carlton Davis broke his thumb in practice on Thursday while trying to block Amon-Ra St. Brown at the line of scrimmage. It's a tough blow, but Davis is showing that grit and resilience we love to see. He's planning to play through the injury against the Jacksonville Jaguars with his hand in a cast. That's what it means to be a Lion, fighting through adversity to be there for your team. Davis, who has been a standout in our secondary this season, threw his first 2 interceptions of the year during last week's thrilling 26-23 comeback win over the Houston Texans. He only has a 71.5 passer rating when targeted, which puts him among the league's elite at the position. "I can still catch it, a little bit," Davis said with a smile when speaking to the media. "Just little tweaks in the game as far as using my hands and maybe being a little more subtle." He knows it will be a challenge, but he's confident that once the adrenaline kicks in, he'll be ready to go. That's the kind of heart you want on your side, Lions fans. While Davis appears ready to suit up, the news isn't as promising for tight end Sam LaPorta. LaPorta missed his 3rd straight practice with a left shoulder injury he suffered against the Texans. It appears he will be out for Sunday's game. It's a tough loss, no doubt, especially given LaPorta's impressive track record. After setting an NFL rookie tight end record with 86 receptions last season, he has continued to be a key part of our offense. In 9 games this season, LaPorta has 25 catches for 366 yards and 3 touchdowns. It will be a challenge to fill that void, but head coach Dan Campbell and the staff have faith in the next guys. Brock Wright and Shane Zylstra are expected to step up and take on bigger roles at tight end. Additionally, the Lions will likely elevate James Mitchell from the practice squad. Passing game coordinator Tanner Engstrand had nothing but confidence in this trio. "They've played a lot before," he said. "We have every confidence in the world that these guys are going to go in there and execute." Lions fans, this is where our depth is tested, and I, for one, believe our guys are ready to rise to the occasion. Speaking of rising stars, let's talk about a true game-changer, Penei Sewell. It's time to have a serious conversation about Sewell being a legitimate candidate for AP Offensive Player of the Year. I know what you're thinking, an offensive lineman? But hear me out. Sewell isn't just any lineman. He's redefining what it means to play the position. Watching him dominate the line of scrimmage, you can see why assistant coach Scotty Montgomery has been raving about him. "He can do it all," Montgomery said. "Whether it's blocking for huge defensive linemen or getting out in space, Sewell is a special talent." The days of offensive linemen being seen as just big, heavy guys who stay in the trenches are over. Sewell moves like a skill player, and Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson knows it. "Sewell is so versatile," Campbell noted this week. "He's just such a good athlete, he's powerful, he's nimble. Whether it's knocking down an edge, pulling to lead block for a running back, or even catching a pass on a trick play, yes, you remember that moment, Sewell makes plays that most tackles simply can't. He's been a foundational piece for this team ever since the Lions drafted him in 2021. And it's no accident, Dan Campbell and GM Brad Holmes saw this potential from the start. Sewell was a standout from day one, starting as a 17-year-old freshman at Oregon. Now, at just 24, he's already regarded by many as the best offensive lineman in the league. The impact he has on every play, every drive, is undeniable. So, why not Offensive Player of the Year? Yes, it's unprecedented for an offensive lineman to win the award. But Sewell is redefining the position. He's integral to one of the league's best offenses, and everything from our passing attack to our ground game revolves around what he does up front. The recognition he's getting from analysts like Mina Kimes and Greg Rosenthal is well-deserved. They see what we see, an elite athlete dominating in every aspect of the game. Rosenthal put it best, "Even dummies like me who don't specialize in offensive line play can watch this man and the way that he moves and say that is one of the best athletes I've ever seen." High praise, and it's all true. Do you think Carlton Davis can maintain his stellar play despite the thumb injury? How do you see the offense adjusting without Laporta this week? Coming off a hard-fought road stretch, the Lions are back at Ford Field, sitting at an impressive 8-1. But the job is far from over, and this week's matchup against the 2-8 Jaguars presents a new set of challenges. First and foremost, let's talk about Jared Goff. Our QB1 is coming off a game he'd probably like to forget, a 5-interception day that left many of us sweating bullets. But to his credit, Goff regrouped when it mattered most, leading a comeback win over Houston. Offensive coordinator Ben Johnson praised Goff's resilience, noting his refusal to shy away from making tough throws even after turnovers. This matchup against the Jaguars, whose pass defense has struggled, is a great opportunity for Goff to bounce back. Jacksonville may have been shaky against the pass, but they are aggressive with their press coverage and love to get in the face of receivers. This will be a true test of Goff's poise, timing, and chemistry with his wideouts. So the key for the Lions is simple: let Goff cook, but do it smartly. Don't force plays, take what the defense gives you and rely on our talented skill players to gain yards after the catch. That brings us to the next point: attacking the middle of the field. The Jaguars are notoriously bad at covering tight ends and running backs in the passing game. With Sam Laporta likely out, this is Brock Wright's moment to shine. And don't forget about Jahmyr Gibbs. The mismatch potential for Gibbs against Jacksonville's linebackers is massive, and the Lions need to exploit it. Let's see how creative Ben Johnson can get with those matchups. And speaking of playmakers, Jameson Williams is starting to look every bit the deep threat we've hoped he'd become. Fresh off one of his best games, Williams' speed will be a problem for the Jaguars' secondary, which has given up its fair share of explosive plays. If the Lions execute their short to mid-range game plan effectively, it should open up some deep shots for J-Mo. On the ground, don't expect things to come easy. Jacksonville's strength is stopping the run, and they've got some studs up front who love to clog gaps. It's crucial the Lions don't abandon the run even if it's tough sledding early. The ground game will be key to keeping their pass rush honest and giving Goff more time to work. Now, let's flip to the defensive side. Big news this week: Za'Darius Smith is ready to make his debut. Defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn is wasting no time. They're planning to throw him into the mix to see what he can do. With our next few games against teams with losing records, this is a great window for Smith to get acclimated to the system. Lions fans, get ready for some fireworks from him. Stopping the Jaguars' run game will also be critical. Our run defense was rock solid last week against Houston, allowing just 56 yards. That kind of dominance needs to continue. Expect guys like Alim McNeill and DJ Reader to set the tone up front, while the linebackers clean things up. Jacksonville's offensive line isn't built to handle pure power, and the Lions' physicality could be a deciding factor. Finally, let's talk blitzing. Since losing Aiden Hutchinson, the Lions have been increasing their blitz rate, and it's paying off. Getting pressure on the quarterback, especially someone like Mac Jones who will be replacing the injured Trevor Lawrence, is key. We all know Jones is prone to sacks, scrambles, and checkdowns under pressure. Our defense needs to be ready to capitalize on those mistakes. Do you think Jared Goff will bounce back with a big game? Can Jameson Williams light up the secondary again? Leave your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. We've got plenty more Lions content coming your way. Go Lions!